Welcome back once again, and of course, as we know that a few moments ago the electoral process in the polling stations have just started exactly at 9 a.m. and it continues to I guess like 9 p.m. and also of course a runoff is going to be opened on Saturday and Sunday, the 3rd and 4th of January. And the voting for expats was opened on Wednesday and Thursday. And of course, we're hopefully being all of us crossing our fingers that we will continue our electoral process peacefully, of course, as we always do, and with transparency, and also continue the constitutional rights of the whole nation, so that we can produce a new Parliament. Of course, we're very delighted to be having with us inside the studio our dear and prominent guest, Dr. Ahmad Farrag. He's a journalist and a media expert. Good morning, Dr. Farrag.
Good morning, ma'am.
How are you doing?
I'm fine.
First of all, as a journalist and a media expert, how do you assess the electoral process, especially particularly this year, and the messages that were delivered by the annulment? Of course, the Egyptian administration, President Abdel Fattah Sisi, was very keen on a follow-up with the electoral process, full transparency, no irregularities, no exceptions, no fraud, nothing. How does that represent to the whole world?
As we know, we are living in the era of building a new republic under the leadership of His Excellency President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. And one important pillar of constructing such a republic is forming a parliament based on, as you mentioned, neutrality and integrity, and choosing the right persons who will represent the Egyptian people under the dome of the House of Representatives, because as we know, we have many urgent files or issues that need to be discussed in the Parliament. That's why the political leadership is very keen for example, to guarantee that the electoral process would be performed in a friendly atmosphere and with all the needed facilitations that can be offered by the state.
And also a very exceptional, successfully exceptional, the voting abroad, the expats. What was, clearly noticed is their urge and their precision to go once again and follow the same process and cast their votes and choose freely their candidates. They are thinking of their own homeland, and they want the prosperity, and they want the best for Egypt. It was very clear. In spite of that, the voting days were working days for the expats.
The Egyptians living abroad, as we saw, are very, very keen to participate in these elections because it's a kind of loyalty, and it's a kind of belonging to their homeland. And also because they have ambitions, and they have hopes, and they have great expectations, so that's why they are very, very keen to participate and cast their votes. And actually the Egyptian diplomatic missions provided all the needed facilitation and service to help people cast their votes freely and acquire the feeling of building the new republic.
So how do you assess the media coverages that were done? I mean, it was at the top of every hour, and every half an hour there were of course reports and a follow-up with the National Elections Authority that was keen on delivering the real transparent image from inside every polling station, asking the people, they're requesting if there was anything irregular or if services were not up to the satisfaction of the people who went to the ballots and all that. How do you assess the media coverage in general?
Actually, there is an intensive media coverage of the current elections due to their importance. All the media outlets, as we see, report what is going on inside the polling stations and report any statements issued by the National Elections Agency to guide the voters and to guide the Egyptian people, and also to motivate and stimulate them to participate in such national event.
Here in the Egyptian TV and the Egyptian media in general, we were very keen on giving an objective and not subjective image of what's happening, delivering the image to the people and the viewers as transparent as we can, as honest as we can. And if there were any irregularities, we were reporting. We were following with our reporters at the top of every 5 minutes. So how do you assess the media coverage in the sense of if it succeeded in delivering the real image of what was going on?
Of course, it have succeeded, and it was very, very neutral and transported the real image and the real situation. And there was no pressure on people or direction to choose certain people relating to certain political parties. Actually, the state TV exerted good efforts in such regard.
Right. So the role of social media also was was in the scene. Social media took a big share when it comes to everything, every incident, especially the political, the general events, even the major events are usually covered also by social media, and it has its audience. So in light of the voting process, the runoffs and the rerun and all that, how do you assess the role of social media? Was it biased? Was it transparent? How do you really assess it? As long as
actually, the social media outlets were very, very transparent, and also they reported the event neutrally and transported the real image and provided all the needed information to help people go to their polling stations and choose whoever will represent them in the coming parliament, inshallah.
Do you think that some part of the social media was biased because they belong to some pages for the nominees and they were trying to reflect some fake news about
I don't think
other
so, because nowadays everyone has his or her own page on the social media. So even if there are some candidates who promote themselves through certain pages on the social media, it's no problem. It's their right. As long as they do not press people to choose them.
That is very much true. Now, moving on to the National Election Authority, that was very clear. They were keen on bringing us a real and vivid, clear image of what was happening inside every polling stations all over Egypt. And there was, we were always, and until today, yesterday, and last week, and today we're going to see the same thing, watching the whole of the polling station through windows before the executive manager or head of the executive director of the National Elections Authority, Judge Ahmad bin Deri. Each and every one of them giving a clear image and message of what was happening then, back then. So, of course, there were many challenges that faced this particular entity. How do you assess the whole process?
Actually, the National Elections Authority exerted great efforts to guarantee that the whole electoral process would be performed in a friendly atmosphere and with neutrality and without any interference from any governmental bodies. As we saw all the time, they keep issuing regular statements about any developments concerning the electoral process, runoff, rerun, and so on. And even if there is certain irregularities, they didn't hesitate to announce such irregularities and so on.
The executive director of the National Elections Authority, he earlier gave a statement which was very important and transparent at the same time. He said that the 2025 elections were very challenging. It was so difficult, and we were very keen on monitoring every intricate details in it. If you like to elaborate over this, what was it exactly a big burden over the shoulders of the people in charge to be able to monitor the irregularities and stand up to any fraud or fake practices or anything that's happening inside the polling stations?
Well, actually the National Elections Authority, as I have just mentioned, exerted great efforts and they shouldered the big burden of directing and performing such elections. And even when the Higher Administrative Court issued a ruling to nullify the results of some constituencies, they were very keen to issue a decision to rerun the voting in such constituencies. Actually, they exerted great efforts in such regard.
Right. If you would like to also take a comprehensive look over the organizational and supervisional measures taken by the National Elections Authority, maybe to grant transparency of the voting process and also protect the will of the vote of the people who went to the ballots, and also achieve equality and balance between all candidates.
As we know, the members of the National Elections Agency are relating to judiciary. So the electoral process was conducted under a complete supervision of judicial authority to guarantee that to guarantee integrity, transparency, equality, and so on. And actually, the parliamentary elections are very, very important because, as we know, Egypt is a state of establishments. Any national establishment has its effective rule in the general landscape in the state, and of course forming a democratic parliament is very, very important in this regard. That's why the National Election Agency exerted great efforts to guarantee that people will choose the right persons who will represent them.
Mm-hmm. So how do you think the runoff will reflect the strong supervision of the judiciary on the voting process and the supervision of the National Elections Authority and the international community and the civil society, and a collaboration of efforts by the Egyptians to make sure that this election would come as transparent as it could be, to show the whole world that we have democracy and we are keen on transparency. We have freedom of speech, and freedom of will here is respected. If you like to elaborate.
Actually, the rerun proves that the political practices in Egypt are very, very democratic, and the state keynes on guarantees that people express their free will and choose their representatives freely, because the parliament in any political system is very, very important.
Of course. So, in your own point of view as a journalist, above anything, what does the people, or what do the people and the nation and the citizens want or expect from the upcoming parliament? Most of the people, they talk about the services, the favors or the services that is supposed to be done for the people and citizens, but they don't put before their eyes that above all, most importantly, they should expect the, of course, legislation, the monitoring and survey over the government, and an array of other important vital issues that are awaiting the upcoming parliament. What do people expect from the parliament?
Well, as we know, any parliament under any political system has two major functions. As you have mentioned, monitoring the work of the government and formulating legislations. And even that's why in English language the representatives are called lawmakers, because they are making laws in different spheres. And as we know, we have so many urgent files, I mean political, social, economic, that need to be discussed in the upcoming parliament. So, of course, people, I mean Egyptians, have great expectations. They expect that the newly elected representatives will be keen on raising such issues to produce the proper laws that enhance political, economic, social life in Egypt.
In your own assessment, a lawmaker or a member of parliament, like I borrowed your excellent word of or nickname for a parliament member. A parliament member should have specific qualifications before nominating themselves or himself to be a parliament member. What should he acquire? What should he study? What should he be acquainted with? There are very important issues that he should be acquainted with before stepping under the dome of the parliament. So what exactly are the qualifications that should be present in a parliament member?
I think one important aspect would be related to the awareness of the threats Egypt faces now in different spheres, in economy, in security, and so on, because if the lawmakers know very well about the challenges faced by their country, they would be able to suggest or propose certain laws that will protect the major interest of Egypt in such regard.
So some people, do you think people should, what happened in 2025, the electoral process, have elaborated or enabled people to acquire more political awareness about casting their votes and what they're supposed to choose in a parliament member, what exactly should be required in the upcoming parliament member, and the duties of the parliament in general. Through this annulment and through the repeated process that took place for the best interest of Egypt and its citizens?
I think such practices, I mean what happened in terms of rerunning and revoting, would encourage people to effectively participate in any coming elections, because they see by themselves that the state is keen on conducting democratic elections, and the state is keen on providing all the needed facilitations to stimulate people to choose their representatives. So of course their participation in any coming elections would be great.
Hopefully, inshallah, on that very optimistic note, would like to thank you, of course, Dr. Ahmad Farrag, the journalist and the media expert. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.